Hello everyone, welcome to Free Pattern Friday. I have got a good few patterns again this week, but I haven't really stuck to what I'd say is a theme. I've just kind of picked random things. I suppose I have got a sort of a theme, as for Christmas in July and things like that. But I didn't really have an aim this week. Usually I kind of separate it into lots and then think, well, I could do that for that one, that sort of thing. So we're just going to go with it, and I'm going to show you what I found. There was, I've got a few from the Drops Design website for you, and I've got some yarn inspirations, a couple from Ravelry, and I've been looking at Love Crafts as well. So I will just tell you about that in a minute. Welcome to everyone, and I've had a couple more new subscribers, so welcome to my channel, and thank you to everyone that is of full support to me, especially on Free Pattern Friday, because I do get a lot of views, and I'm starting to have more comments build again as well, so I'm really looking forward to that as well. So I'm just going to get on with it, because I know that this video does take up quite a lot of time, and I'd like to be able to get it sorted out so that I can upload it, and then you'll be able to see this tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock as usual, because this is being filmed on Thursday evening, as I usually do, because otherwise I wouldn't have any time to do it, because I like it to be up in the mornings rather than the evenings. So I'll get on with it, shall I? Now, where shall I start? Okay, the few that I found on Ravelry, I'll put everything in the description box below, so don't worry about it. And the first one I thought I would show you because of the release of Despicable Me 4. I thought it would be nice to show you. Oh, hang on, I'm losing my thing here. I don't know why it came on separate pieces. Anyway, never mind. A free minion pattern. And some of you may not like minions, but I thought it would be nice just to show you one. A lot of them are paid for patterns, but I found one that wasn't. And I've got a friend that I know that loves minions, and so I thought, oh, I wouldn't mind doing that. And it just ties in nicely with the fact that Despicable Me 4 is coming out into the cinemas, and of course McDonald's have it as their theme for the Happy Meals as well, so I just thought that's an idea. Now I'm hoping that it's pretty straightforward, because I'm going to make one of these. I'm not quite sure when, but I'm hoping I can do it in the next week or so. And that the tips are: try working tight stitches, use a smaller hook size for a better result, use a stitch marker or a piece of yarn to mark the ending of the round, and it's highly recommended that you read through the pattern completely before beginning to crochet. 2mm hook or size suitable for your yarn used, because of course you can just use any yarn you like. Some fibre fill for stuffing, some scissors. The yarn that we use is 4-ply cotton blend, and a 2.5 hook. but again, you can use any, doesn't matter. I will be using DK for mine, as I usually do. The pattern is written in UK standard crochet terms, of course. It can be altered. You can transfer it if you want to for making it to UK terms, and it's pretty much straightforward. It doesn't say whether it's for a beginner, so I think this character in the pattern is created as fan art and not meant to be representations of any copyrighted characters. Okay, if you are going to share pictures on Instagram, then remember to use to insert the @ sign at Chibis Craft, or use the hashtag. Again, that will be down in the description box below because it will be on the pattern, and it's on Instagram and Ravelry, and they're saying that you can contact them on either of those if you have any questions, which is always a good thing. It's 4.5 centimeters tall, 3.75 inches. And I think that's it. I'm wondering. Yeah, it doesn't say. So I'm assuming that all beginners and everything can have a good go at it as well. So that's fine. Sorry, I was a bit vague there. The pattern wasn't really very well sorted out like the ones that are on the hobby one, but never mind. And then I found some moss stitch granny squares, which I thought was quite cool. Actually, scrap that a moment. Sticking with the minions, I found a scarf that's a minion one. I saw it tucked in behind, so I thought I'd say it right so that I can keep it, you know, in the right order. You're welcome to make and sell these items from the pattern, but please do not share or sell the pattern as your own. More photos are available at Facebook /things and yarn strings, including photos from the pattern testers. She used worsted weight Red Heart Super Saver yarn and an H hook. Not sure what an H hook is because we use it in millimeters. The scarf pattern is worked in double crochet and the eye pattern is worked in single crochet. And it's all pretty straightforward. The pattern was written by Patricia King. And who's the designer for that one? It doesn't say that either. That's weird. And that's it. Again, that's a bit strange. There's nothing much really to give away. So I'll just show you it. I quite like the fact that you've got a one-eyed one on one side and the two-eyed ones on the other. That's quite cool. And now, yes, talk about the moss stitch granny square. I thought this was quite fun because usually you see moss stitch either on a border or going in rows on a blanket, and I have seen it as a corner to corner one, but I thought the granny squares would be quite cool because you can make it how you like, whatever colours you like, and however many squares you like. But that looks quite fun to me. And the pattern is just for the granny square, not for the completed blanket, but obviously when you've done a granny square you just kind of do multiple ones, or you can even just do one in the center and keep going like a large granny square of moss stitch. I'm sure that would work as well. and the pattern is from 2014, and the designer is Sarah by Gravra. I think I've actually butchered that, but if I show you, you can see there, BYGVRAA. But I thought that was fun, so I wanted to show you that. And then we're going to come to a couple of yarn inspiration ones. I've got one filet crochet which I found, and it was a baby dinosaur blanket, and I just thought they were really cute, and I should imagine it'll work up quite quickly as well, because obviously the filet bit is just skipping stitches, and the rest is straightforward with a single crochet. They're saying use a 4mm hook and 4 balls of it, but they're using the Bernat Forever Fleece Finer. Don't know, I've never heard of that before. The skill level is easy. Again, it doesn't matter what yarn you use, you can just use whatever your preference is, and that's fine. And the measurements are 41 by 46 inches or 104 by 117 centimeters. The gauge is 12 stitches per 7 rows, and that equals 4 inches or 10 centimeters in the chart pattern. And there's a chart there for you to work with, and then you just repeat it as the row goes along. So when you've done it, you just go along. So in your rows, if you're going to do 3 across, like it, or 2 across as it suggests on this bit, you just keep going and repeat it, and then sew them together, I suppose, if you're doing 2 and then 2 on the top, or just carry on going when it finishes, and then repeat it on the top even. So I thought I would show you that one. Also, going back to when I did some covers for glasses, to stop the flies and everything from getting in your cocktail or whatever when you're sat in the garden sunning yourself. This one is the jam jar toppers. Now I think these make fantastic gifts, especially at Christmas. If you're making homemade jam, it's nice to have a homemade touch of having a crocheted lid on the top. So I had to show you those because I think they're fabulous. And if it's marmalade, you've got the orange segments. If it's strawberry, you've got the strawberry. Blackberry, you've got little blackberries there. And I just think they're absolutely adorable. And the gauge is 15 centimeters per 16 rows, which is 4 inches. The skill level is easy. The measurements are 3 inches in diameter, approximately, or 7.5 centimeters, and it fits a standard wide mouth jar. Obviously, if you've got a wider jar, then you just adjust accordingly. They're saying to use Lily Sugar and Cream cotton, but any cotton will do, or if you want to use DK, I suppose it might stretch a little bit, but give it a go, that's what I say, if you don't really want to use cotton. But I think giving it a firmer look adds to it, really. I don't really know. Oh, for a 4mm crochet hook, all the size needed for whatever yarn you're going to use, of course. And they've got a chart on the back for those of you that like to use charts. Then there's the written pattern there, and it's ideal because the whole thing is just literally one side, like 2 pages, but you can fit it onto one. so it reduces paper. Now what have I got for you? I have got some drops. We'll do the drops ones that I found. Now I found a pair of socks that I actually quite like, and they are crochet drop socks with a lace pattern in Fable, and they're called Walking on Sunshine, and I love the little design. They remind me of school socks that I used to have when I was in primary school. Obviously they were white and knee length, but I had little designs like that on mine, which I really quite liked. And the sizes are between 5 and 6.5, 7.5 and 9, or 9.5 and 10.5. And I'm assuming that's shoe sizes. The EU sizes are 35 to 37, 38 to 40, or 41 to 43. The sock length is approximately 22, 24 or 27, depending on which size you like. And then you just follow the pattern accordingly to which number that you want. And the sock height, that's the length, and then the sock height is 32, 35 or 37 centimeters, or 12.5, 13.75 or 14.5. They're using Drops Fable, as I mentioned just now, from Garn Studio, but again, it doesn't matter, you can just use what you want. They're using the colour mustard, and it's 150 grams in the sizes, in all sizes, and colour. The colour is number 111 if you are using it, but that's fine. It'll explain it here if you do want to buy it. The crochet hook used is a 2mm hook. The size needed to get 28 double crochets in width and 16 double crochets vertically and 28 single crochets in the width, times 35 single crochets vertically is 4 inches by 4 inches. And the crochet tip is to replace the first double crochet on the round with a chain 3. Finish every round with 1 slip stitch in the 3rd chain from the beginning of the round. On the heel, turn every row with single crochet with 1 chain. But again, I really like them. I thought they were really quite cute. The next one I'm going to come to now is, let me put that at the bottom of the pile, I think. The next one I'm going to come to is another drops design, and it is for sticking with this Christmas in July, of course. It's another drops design for a Christmas tree star with lace pattern in Drops Bell, and the theme is Christmas. The measurements are approximately 20 by 20 centimeters or 8 inches by 8 inches, and use 100 grams. And the hook size is 3.5mm hook. All the size needed to get 20 double crochets by 10 rows, which is 4 by 4 or 10 centimeters by 10 centimeters. And the accessories are some poly stuffing for the filling. The pattern shows beginning. The last round is expected in the pattern. First rounds shown in the entire circle. Don't know what that means, but again, I only have printed out the first 2 pages, and I think there was 6. Not sure, can't remember. But they will, you know, you'll find out when you download it if this is something you're interested in. And at the beginning, at the beginning of every double crochet round, replace the first double crochet with a 3 chain and finish around with a 1 slip stitch in the third. Note that working the slip stitch around the first chain space in the first double crochet from the previous round until the first double crochet at the beginning of the round. But that sounds really confusing, so maybe it's just the way I'm reading it, because it looks actually quite straightforward when you look at the pattern, so I'm sure it can be worked out just by the picture if you know what you're doing. But I actually think that is very cute, and I don't think it would fall off either, because a lot of tree toppers, you know, when they're made of the plastic or whatever it is that they make it with nowadays, and also the same with the little dolls with the plastic cones, they never stay up very well, do they? They all kind of wobble on the top, or it's really hard to try and entwine it. And much the same with the ones with the springs as well. You've got to try and make sure that the top is all wrapped round, and it's just not very nice. Anyway, so I saw this one and I thought I would mention it just in case anyone wanted to make their own little touch at the top of the tree, because it wouldn't be quite so heavy. Yes. Now, what have I got next? What have I got next? Hold on a minute. Right, now, sticking with Christmas, I've got a Santa hat pencil puppet. Now, there isn't, oh, there is a little bit of a picture there, which is a bit sad because I can't really show you, but they are to go on the top of pencils. And I thought it was quite cute to be able to put this with a pencil and use it as a stocking or a present for a child. You know, that sort of thing. And the materials that you'll need is red and white. The weight of the wool or the cotton yarn, it's up to you what you want to use. They've used baby soft yarn in the example, a 3mm hook or whatever you need for the yarn that you've used, tapestry needle and a stitch marker. The things to keep in mind are that the chain 1 at the start of each single row and chain 2 single crochet at the start of each half double crochet row, made from the top down, each row with a slip stitch to join and the first stitch of the row. Total stitch count in the row are mentioned in brackets at the end of each row, which is really, really helpful, because at least then you know you're on the right track if you can count back after you've got to the end. And I really do like that about that. So that's that one. Sorry, it's not much of a picture. And now, again, sticking with Christmas, I found this little granny square Christmas tree, and I actually quite think it's really quite funky, because you can, it wouldn't weigh very much, and you can just hang it from a tree or from a shelf. But I think that's really cool. Oh, bless me, sorry about that. And I just love the way that it starts from a little tiny one and gets bigger and bigger. And I just think that's really, really cool. It's a Nastasia.com pattern. The pattern is on Ravelry, I think I got it from. The designer is Donna Wolf, and she's also got YouTube channel and Facebook. She's on Facebook as well. And the instructions are to make 3 granny squares using the granny square pattern below. For the first granny square, use 4 rounds and fasten off. For the second, use 3 rounds and fasten off. And for the third, use 2 rounds and fasten off. So they're doing it from the other way round. So then the top one is only the 2. Whereas I was looking at it from the top, going down from the largest. But it doesn't matter which way round you make them, of course. And then it just explains what you do with the granny square. But it's a solid granny square, so it's all straightforward, just like the traditional one. But I just love it, and I thought it would be nice to use as a hanging decoration and make any craft room super crafty. And now I've got a couple of tree skirts. One is a Yarnspirations one, which is just a granny tree skirt. Of course, that's what it's called, but granny squares, and then made in round. And on the back, you can see the entirety of it and how it's made up. But this would be such a lovely scrap yarn eater. You know, it would use up all your scraps and things if you weren't worried about having a theme. If you did have a theme, well, then you can buy some or just use some that you've got in mind for it, so that it's all one colour. I mean, of course, it's totally up to you. And the gauge is 12 stitches to make 12 stitches is 4 inches, or 6 rows for 4 inches in double crochet. Check your gauge and use any size hook to obtain the gauge that you want. I don't really think gauge is really that important for something like this, but of course they stipulate that because they have their own way of doing the patterns. But all in all, I just like the idea of just using up bits of yarn and scraps and things, and it says that the skill level is intermediate. Well, how hard is doing granny squares and stitching them together? I think it will be okay, and I would always say just give it a go. If it's not going to work, well, it's not going to work. You can either use a needle and thread, or you can just single crochet them together, and then it causes the little ridges, and I think that adds to help with texture and things anyway. So that's all I have to say for that, but I thought I would show you that one anyway. And then we've got a crochet, I think it's a spotlight pattern, and it's crochet Christmas tree skirt in a star. Now the pattern isn't that great because it doesn't show you, but I've only again printed off the first 2 pages because I didn't want to print off loads and use loads and loads of paper. But it's the same principle. It says that it's an advanced pattern, and it uses hexagons and triangles, and I'm sure because it's all detailed exactly how to do it, it would be quite straightforward, even though it does say advanced. Take 1 row at a time, and that's the best advice I can give. Now we come to the ones that I found on Lovecrafts. Now for this one, I don't have a lot of information on it, but I wanted to show you because, again, hanging from a tree, I haven't put the printed all the pattern out because, like I say, there's no need for me to do it unless I am actually doing the patterns. But I thought that would be really nice, and it's just literally making 2 and stitching them together. The lady is called Vera, and the creator of the patterns by Knitted Story Bears. There you'll find 3 they've got free amigurumi patterns on the channel, and I just think it would just look really nice on the Christmas tree, and that's purely my only reason, or hanging from a shelf, of course. They're saying to use sport weight yarn, but of course you can use any. They're saying to use a 2mm hook, and the size of the toy is 3 inches tall, and with the indicated materials, but it wouldn't really vary that much unless you were using something like Aran or Chunky, and then it might well get bigger. But they do have lots of other patterns on their site, so you can always go and have a look, and I will put it in the description box below. Now we have from the same designer a crochet teddy bear, which I thought would be really lovely for a random act of kindness or a stocking filler. Isn't that lovely? Really cute. I love the little jumper and everything. And again, it says a crochet hook 2.5mm, some stuffing, and some sport weight yarn, but of course you can use whatever yarn you're using, and it's American terms. There is if you prefer a downloadable, printable, ad-free PDF version of the pattern, it can be purchased there on Etsy, but I've managed to get it off of this one, and that's fine. I'll put it in the description box below. I'm sorry it's a bit sparse and there doesn't seem to be much information on these, but I clicked randomly, and because it wasn't a PDF, I struggle a little bit, because otherwise it's just full up with adverts and you've got pop-ups everywhere, and it's just really annoying. So I have done my best, and I've managed as best as that I can. Now we're going to come to something which I think is very unusual, which is a reversible toy, a cat and a bunny. Now take a look. It turns inside out and goes from a bunny to a cat, or a cat to a bunny. Isn't that fabulous? And how different is it? And it's, first of all, the lady would like to thank you so much for purchasing the pattern. Well, it was a free pattern. They're just saying that you've purchased it because obviously you've downloaded it. Please respect me as a designer and writer for this pattern. Don't publish this pattern online or any other way, or resell this pattern. You can find more of the patterns via these links, which is Etsy, Ravelry or Lovecrafts. Feel free to contact me if you have any other questions regarding this template, and I will do my best to help you. The finished size is 3.9 inches, which is 10 centimeters tall, and 3.5 inches wide, which is 9 centimeters. That's for the cat, and the bunny is 5 inches tall and 3.5 inches wide. Yeah, and 9 centimeters. The yarn they're using is the Elise Bella, which is 100% cotton. Again, use whatever you feel like. And I feel like I'm not really looking at you as well, but I can't really look down and look back up again. So I spend most of my time thinking, God, you can't see my face in these videos. Perhaps that's why it's so popular, but who knows. Anyway, crochet hook of 1.75mm, but again, if you're using different yarn, then it will just stipulate whichever it is on the yarn band. Some fibre fill, a stitch marker, and a darning needle. This is a American pattern, and I think they've got the UK in brackets, because it's got the terms used in the American on one side, and then the UK one in brackets. So I'm assuming that the pattern would be exactly the same. Go for it, you know, go and have a look. Even if you don't like this one, go and have a look, see what else she's got on her website. That's what I'd do. It's on Ravelry or Lovecrafts or whatever, and just go and have a look, because there is a fair few there. Now we have got, how are we doing for time? 35 minutes. Well, I'm not really long now. I'm on my last pile. We've got Yip Yips. Who remembers the Yip Yips? I remember these, and wouldn't these be really good in a yarn room full of yarn, in a craft room to put all your yarn in, or in a toy room to stuff toys into? Aren't they just wonderful? And the bottoms have got things like that, which means they can be added and you don't even need to sew in the ends. Very cool. It's 6 inches, 6 or 8 inches. Oh yes, 6 inches to, I don't know what I'm talking about. Right, up into the mouth, I'd say, is this bit, and then up to there, and then it's 25 inches across. So they are quite big. And it says, any fan of the late 20th century children's public television will recognise these lovable aliens. Crochet or knit them, use them as holiday stockings, toy storage, kids' laundry baskets, or whatever really. Yip, 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 yip. Isn't it? That's how they used to go, actually. Anyway, finished measurements. Circumference 25 inches, height 14 inches, excluding the tentacles and the hanging loop. Gauge is 8 stitches to 8 rows equals 4 inches in single crochet. And you just go for it, really. They're saying to use a 6.5mm hook on a circular needle if you're doing knitting. Or an 8mm crochet hook. Again, it depends what yarn you use, because that's the soft and chunky stuff, isn't it? The really soft, what I call the blanket yarn stuff. But of course, you know, you can use any. But I thought that would be absolutely lovely, even in the nursery. Who knows, eh? So I wanted to show you that. And then we've got Cleo the Clam. Well, I thought we did. Hang on. Cleo the Clam. Meet Cleo. When you live your entire life in a shell, you can tend to be a little shy. But Cleo is determined to move past this clam stereotype and meet new friends. He keeps his clam shell propped open as often as he can and greets any passerby with a cheery hello. Now, I thought of these because, again, random act of kindness or anything really. But I just thought it was super cute and had to show you. Please note that this pattern and images contained in the document are sole properties of Teresa's crochet shop. This written pattern is for personal use only. Please do not redistribute or sell this pattern in whole or in part. You may sell the finished product, but please credit Teresa's crochet shop as the designer. And they're saying to use a 3.75 crochet hook, worsted weight yarn, again any, it doesn't really matter, a pair of 12mm safety eyes. The final measurement of the finished shell will be 3 inches or 7.5 centimeters wide, and a little clam inside will be 1.2 inches or 3.25 25 centimeters tall. American terms and made in continuous rounds. You will not join each round. In the patterns, she begins with a circle of chain 2 and then 6 in the first chain, or you can just do 6 in a magic circle. So it's good that someone's giving you another option on paper, even if you don't actually like to use the magic ring, which I know a lot of people don't. So that was Cleo the Clam. Now, a butterfly, another random act of kindness. And it says, the pattern says pink butterfly when you click onto it, but of course you can do it in any colour. And it has a chart for those of you that likes using charts. It's in American terms, and you go straight into the pattern. There's nothing really to give away. So if you can do trebles and singles and doubles, you'll be fine with this pattern, and of course slip stitches as well. But I just love the shape, and I'm sure they'll work up quite well as well. Now we've got our friend, hang on a minute, we haven't actually, because I haven't sorted it out. Put them in the wrong order, sorry about this, hold on a second. Okay, so I have got 2 patterns from Sweet Oddity Art that I found. One is Sheila the Unicorn. Oh. The other one, I'll just do this one first. Sheila the Unicorn. As you already know from my previous showings of all her patterns on here, she's got an email address and she's also got an Etsy shop, and you can contact her and she usually gets back to you within 24 hours. This is an intermediate pattern suitable for novice crocheters requiring patience and precision when assembling the unicorn and the basic crochet skills. It's 15 inches from bottom to top of the head with a weight 6 yarn. So that's because this is done obviously in that really soft stuff, but it doesn't matter what you do it in, like I say, because you can choose. I would just do it in DK, not the squidgy stuff. And that's really about it. The intermediate means that it's suitable for novice crocheters requiring patience. I've already said that, so that's fine. But so it means that everyone can have a go, basically. Chenille yarn is what they use, and that's what they class as a 6 weight or bulky. And they're saying to use 3.75 or 3.25 hook, or and an or, because for different things, and 21mm safety eyes. It's American terms, and the notes are: do not join the rounds unless stated, work in the continuous spiral, use a stitch marker to mark the beginning of each round, all stitches are worked in both loops unless stated otherwise in the pattern. So that's that one. And the other one is a mini dragon crochet pattern. Isn't she or he adorable? I love the little green one, because green and purple I love. And exactly the same again about the information. The size is 11 inches from the bottom of the foot to the top of the head, with your 4-weight yarn using a 3.25mm hook. Again, it's an intermediate, suitable for novice crocheters, and that's all I can say really. But I really do love the green one, so that's that one. Now, I have got Wallace and Wanda, the whales. And I saw these because I thought the little goldfish was really quite popular on the channel, so I thought I would show these as well. And I love the fact that they are a pair, and I love the fact that they're called Wallace and Wanda. And these are basic. It's the basic pattern for both of the whales that is the same. If you want to make the whale with coloured dots, which is Wallace, follow the Fair Isle pattern instructions listed below, along with the basic pattern beginning from round 1 to 25 of the head or the body. It works in continuous rounds without joining with a slip stitch. Do not turn at the end of each round unless you're directed to. The whale's body is constructed from top to bottom. The fins and the tail are made separately and attached to the body during assembly, and she recommends that using an invisible decrease to avoid getting the gaps in the stitches. Firmly stuff and overstuff slightly before finishing the section that you are working on. This will allow the stuffing to fill out the shape once the crochet is done. And for the whale with the coloured dots, which is Wallace, carry the yarn on the wrong side technique. This is used for changing colours, instead of cutting and rejoining the new strand each time, which is fine because that just means that it will just go on the inside like that, and it will all be inside, and it'll all still be neat, and you won't need to worry about it. It's only a pattern from the top though, I'm afraid, because I don't have any other photos. There may well have been in the rest of the pattern, but I only wanted the first 2 pages, so I just had to show you those, and that will go with the goldfish that I showed you last time. And now I just have 2 left, and one is Daisy the Duck. Again, I chose this for random act of kindness, just in case, or even just, like I said to you before, a stocking filler, or anything really, just a small gift for little children to hold in their hands or whatever. And this says, "Hi, I am Daisy the Duck, and I would love to be your friend and travel with you wherever you go. Do you know ducks can live up to 20 years? The pattern and the photos enclosed are the property of Follow the Yarn. The entire pattern is for personal use only, so please do not redistribute any part of the pattern. You may sell the finished product, but please credit the Follow the Yarn as the designer." Then it gives you the yarn, which they're saying that they use King Cole Gizia, which is a 4-ply, a 3.5mm hook, and plastic eyes of 0.3 centimeters. Polyfilling, needle and thread, and the end size is 4 centimeters by 3 centimeters by 4 centimeters. And it is American terms again. They do say that you can give them an email if you have any questions, then message them. and they also have an Etsy shop as well as Ravelry, so you can go along and have a look. But I just thought, how cute, as a little random act of kindness with a little bow round his neck or something with a little message. Thought that would be really lovely. And that's Daisy the duck. And then last but not least was just some information, and it is just literally one page, which is really good. The only thing is it's really small, which doesn't matter to me, but you could be able to you know, make it larger before you print it out. And that is my Yasmin blanket that I have been showing on my Wednesday video. I have the written pattern here because I usually will just say, oh, it's on YouTube, and it's because that's where I learnt it, because it's on a video, and it's written here, and there's just a little caption of what it looks like. I mean, obviously that's stripy, but it's just the actual pattern that I'm actually looking at rather than the colours. But I thought, I saw it and I thought, oh, well, I'll show it, because a lot of people like to have a pattern that they can work through on paper rather than watching a video. So I'll put that in the description box below as well. And that brings me to the end, and we're at 51 minutes again. So I'm going to go because my husband will be home very soon from work, and I need to get this started uploading before he gets back, so the internet doesn't go really slow. So thank you all for watching. Like, subscribe and comment and share, because it makes me so happy. I really love the fact that my channel is growing, and I love the fact that you've all got lots and lots of comments, and please tell me which ones you liked. I'm sorry it was a bit shaky at the beginning with not much information, but that's because if it's not on a PDF, it doesn't tell you everything, and I really struggle to find where it is. But we muddle through, don't we, because that's what it is all about. So let me know what's your favourite. Let me know what you've also been working on, or if you've been actually working on some of the patterns that I have been showing in the past few weeks. I would love to know as well. And I will leave my email address in the description box as well, so if you have been making any, then you can let me know and show me. And if you don't mind, then I'll show them at some point on my channel as well, because I would love to see it, and I'm sure everyone else would too. So take care, everyone. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on Monday. Take care. Bye.